Thank you, ma'am, for the opportunity. Good evening, everybody. Our respected judges, our honorable principal, ma'am, Dr. Nabonita Chakraborty, the professors, our worthy co-participants, and all the faculty members. Today, I would like to introduce myself. I, Shayana Paul from Hermachandra College, Department of Commerce, hereby standing for the motion. And my topic is unemployment problem is a bigger challenge than COVID. And if I have your permission, ma'am, I would like to begin my words.
Yes, Shayana.
Thank you. First of all, grief to those who are died due to this pandemic. We are extremely sorry for their families. To cope up with this situation, we need a good treatment and more testing to happen. But we know that the unemployment rate in all over world had spiked to a large extent. According to CMIE, Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, the unemployment rate for the month of July stood at 7.43%, down from nearly 24% during the month of April. International Labour Organization ILO estimated that globally more than 25 million of jobs would be threatened due to this spread of coronavirus. European and Asian countries have begun to register huge job losses, leading to a significant rise in unemployment rate. ILO described COVID as the worst global crisis since the World War II. According to the International Monetary Fund, IMF, the world faced the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression of 1930s. We borrowed the lockdown model from European countries without considering the ground level reality of Indian economy. Within days of lockdown, the migrant issue was looming large. We let them suffer without food, shelter, and job for 2 months. Finally, government gave up, and migrant workers, the majority of whom were infected, streamed out of urban red zones of the country and carried the infection into the green rural zones. Hundreds of them have died in their way, and most of them was the only earning member of their families. Thus, the health crisis predictably lead to the economic crisis. The sudden stuffing down of all the production and distribution lead to a total collapse of the economy, rendering millions jobless. About 93 million of workers, such as farmers, daily wage workers, and those who are work under contractual work, have been most affected. Added precautions such as social distancing, contract tracking, strict health controls over entry at any workplace and market would also impact the employer-worker relationship. This indicates that the current international-wide lockdown has been the biggest job destroyer ever in the history. I would like to ask my fellow participants that if a person not able to fulfill his or her basic requirements to survive, then how could he or she can afford the treatment of COVID, which is quite expensive these days? He or she will eventually die due to hunger before getting infected by the virus, right? So this is the question I throw to my fellow participants, and it's upon them. Thank you. I'm done now.
Thank you, Shayana, for your remarks. I now call upon the first speaker from the opposition, Oyonabo Noshkar. Oyonabo, it's over to you now.
Thank you, ma'am, for this opportunity. A very good evening to all my esteemed speakers and judges, respected professors and faculty members, and to all of our fellow participants, and to all of my dear friends, and especially once again thanks to our principal, Dr. Nabonita Chakraborty, for giving me this opportunity to perform on this platform at today's evening. I am Oyonabo Noshkar from Hermachandra College, Department of Commerce, and I will be speaking on the topic unemployment problem is bigger challenge than COVID-19, and which is against assumption. Well, as we all know, being employment is obviously essential, at least to fulfill the basic needs and to live our livelihood in a smooth manner. Likewise, if we think bit concentration, think bit concentration, then we can understand eyewitnessly that on the other hand, COVID-19 has also reached at its highest peak irrespective of status of development. In this case, I wanted to mention that in 2003, when SARS virus hit China, China's GDP was $1.6 trillion, but today China's GDP is around $13 trillion. Due to this, company also looking for way to boost their bottom line, and even the company like Starbucks announces closure more than half of 4,100 stores in mainland China, and the company which is not retailer closing stores like H&M also declared closure 45 locations, and the company IKVA also shut off its 30 stores in mainland China. And lastly, I want to mention that the plants like Coca-Cola have also been affected, except all those above mentioning facing challenges. There are many more challenges such as shortage in medical supplies, providing beds to COVID-19 patients, and most of all, difficulty stopping its spread because it is totally a newborn disease virus, as we all know. Previously, top 5 affected countries from the viruses are USA, Italy, Spain, Germany, and Iran. And fact is that all these countries have a stronger capacity to serve their products than India, though we are still developing country, right? So still somehow they are getting filled, whereas India is still fighting irrespective of all difficulties. In this case, again, I wanted to mention that 6 million white-collar workers lost their job during this lockdown, while 5.9 million white-collar workers lost their job between May to August 2020. Over the previous 4 months, ended on 30th April. This job loss number stood at 6.6 when compared with May August 2019. Even economists and the global institutions like the Asian Development Bank and recently cut India's growth projections from already historic lows as the virus continues to. So, as my previous speaker said, Ms. Fiona Paul, and my next participant will also going to be said, the Miss Mousumi Chakraborty, that still we think that the unemployment problem is bigger than COVID-19. Of course not. I do not agree with them because COVID-19 is totally the newborn disease virus, and we do not know the exact medicine, and even we are facing all those problems which I have previously discussed. So I think if we cannot cope up with this COVID-19 viruses, then I think that unemployment problem will still remain as a permanent only. So as per my opinion, I would like to suggest to each and everyone that who are presented here today that just because of this virus, whole economy is getting destroyed. So depending on the present pandemic dangerous situation, I hope that we all must need to take care COVID-19 as the biggest challenge for now at least, and make ourselves a winner against the newborn diseases virus. And before ending my speech, I must want to leave a question for everyone to look forward over the matter, that is really unemployment problem is bigger challenge than COVID-19, or COVID-19 is one of the biggest challenge than unemployment. Thank you. This is my opinion, and opinion may vary. It's up to totally judges. Thank you.
Thank you, Ayonavo, for your remarks. I now call upon the second speaker who will speak for the proposition, Mousumi Chakraborty. Mousumi, it's over to you now.
Ma'am, can I start now?
Yes.
Good evening to the respected Principal Dr. Nabanita Chakraborty, respected judges, audience, and all the resource person present here. I am Mousumi Chakraborty from Herombo Chandra College from the Commerce Department, and I will be speaking for the motion. unemployment is a bigger challenge than COVID-19. An initial assessment of the COVID-19 on the global world says that the effects will be far-reaching, pushing millions of people into unemployment, underemployment, and working poverty, and proposes measures for a decisive, coordinated, and immediate response. The economic and labor crisis created by the COVID-19 pandemic on the global world could increase unemployment almost 25 million. The initial assessment note that calls for urgent, large-scale and coordinated measures across three pillars: protecting the workers in the workplace, stimulating the economy and the unemployment, and supporting jobs and incomes. These measures include extending social protection, supporting employment retention, and financial and tax reliefs for both medium, small and small-sized enterprise, and fiscal and monetary policy, and providing financial assistance to all these specific economic sectors of the economy. Based on the different scenarios of the impact of COVID-19, the ILO estimates that between 5.3 million and 24.7 million jobs could be lost worldwide. Unemployment is also a bigger problem in the COVID-19 situation. As a result, there is a decrease in the consumption of goods and services in the economy. Falls in employment also depicts that large income losses for workers, and there is a decrease in the consumption of goods and services in the economy, and working poverty has also increased significantly to a large extent, and the ILO estimates that between 8.8 million and 35 million people could be close to or below the poverty line. And self-employment in developing countries, which often serves as a cushion for the impact of changes, may not work this time, as there is a restrictions on the movement of people also. So there is a devastating situation in this COVID-19 pandemic. So there will be a large disproportionate distributions of income, and there will be inequalities in income of the people, and particularly the younger and the older ones will suffer from this, and women and migrants too. So migrants will vulnerably be feeling less protected as a result of a lack of social protection rights, and women tend to be overrepresented in lower paid jobs and affected sectors. And the assessment of the International Labour Organization depicts that there will be a devastating situation after the post-COVID-19 situation. And the International Labour Organization's Director General Guy Ryder also told that there is no longer only a global health crisis, but also economic crisis and labor crisis, which is having a lot of impact on the people. So to cope up in this situation, we have to follow the various government policies and the international labor standards, which are issued by the International Labour Organization, to get back into the normal course of life. And in this way, we can get back into the sustainable and equitable economy, and there will be a stabilization in the economy. Now we are facing the problem of recession. So to get back into the normal course, we have to coordinate among ourselves to get back into the normal course, and the investment should also increase, and the people should invest more in this situation, so that the flow of income increases in the economy. So I would like to conclude my speech by saying that COVID-19 is a big problem for the people, or unemployment is a bigger problem for the people. People have lost their people have lost their people has lost their jobs and could not earn their livelihood. So how will they be able to live their livelihood if they do not have the money, and they will not be able to do the treatment also properly because many of them are losing their jobs. They are facing the problem. So to get back into the normal situation, unemployment problem should be reduced so that the normal course of business could be started again, and we will be able to get back previously as soon as possible. I have concluded my speech.
Thank you, Moshumi. I now call upon our last speaker for the day, Sneha Aditya, who will speak for the opposition. Sneha, over to you now.
Judges, respected professors, esteemed speakers, and all my fellow college mates. I am Sneha Aditya from Haramachandra College, Department of Commerce, and I'm here to speak against the topic, unemployment is a bigger problem than COVID-19. In my opinion, COVID, being a communicable disease, resulted in complete lockdown, which in turn actually has resulted in unemployment. So actually, COVID is the root cause of causing unemployment in this current year. And unless and until we get a permanent solution for COVID-19, everything else is secondary, and unemployment will remain as a problem in India. Today, I'm going to speak 4 points to justify my opinion. Firstly, COVID-19 has created a fear in the minds of the business persons, for which they are actually not able to invest in any share markets or in any other businesses. And if we all know, if there is no investment, business will automatically shut down. Many of the small and the medium-scale businesses has already been shut down, and moreover, this year has been recorded the highest number of businesses going bankrupt, not only in US, but also all over the world, leading to unemployment. The statistics is somewhat like this, that before the pandemic, the rate of unemployment was 7%. But in this pandemic, like during this pandemic in 2020, the rate actually rose to 27%, which is nearly more than triple of what it was before, according to CMIE. And also, Pondicherry became the biggest victim of this problem, with the highest unemployment rate of 75.8% all over the country. Now to my second point, which is economic recession has been caused due to COVID-19, which actually led to unemployment. We all know in India, there are very few organizations actually, like the IT sectors, who facilitate people to do work from home. People who work from in the construction businesses, or like in steel factory or in other manufacturing units, they actually can't do their work from home, and they also have a difficulty in maintaining the social distance if they ever go in physical to visit their site, leading to lowering the productivity, resulting in lowering the revenue generation, leading to huge losses and no earning, which ultimately leads to unemployment. Now, my third point is COVID-19 also caused many workers to get jobless, leading in rising the unemployment rate. This is because many workers, like there were total 98 days of lockdown in our whole country. Many workers during this lockdown who actually used to work on a daily wage rate basis, they have gone back to their homeland and are not ready to come back unless and until the COVID situation has been taken care of, leading to unemployment. Now, my last and final point, which is my fourth point, actually a conclusion too, is that COVID is solely responsible for creating debts and unemployment among the millions. We all know COVID has taken away so many lives of people, and especially in a country like India, where the population is so high. COVID has actually taken away more lives of people than unemployment would have taken in a short run. And obviously, if we are not alive ourselves out there, who would even care to get employed, right? Actually, there is also another fact that India is a developing country, and unemployment has always been a problem in India. Actually, this pandemic has made the unemployment rate rise. And also according to CMIE, which is the Center of Indian Economy, states that another 25 million people will be like jobless due to this pandemic. So basically, my point of saying all this is that howsoever strong points my fellow opponents will say, they have to believe this fact that the pandemic is responsible for creating everything, and it is the COVID-19 basically, which has to be like, which has become a necessary point and a bigger problem, which has to be taken care of immediately. And if COVID-19 is solved, like the problem is solved, then automatically the problem of unemployment in India will come back to normalcy. I hope I can justify my opinion. And I would like to present now just 2 questions to all the people, like everyone listening to me out here. Firstly, which one is necessary? Lives of people or getting employed? And secondly, is it really unemployment, which is a bigger problem, or is it COVID-19, which has become the biggest problem all over the world and has to be taken care of? Thank you.